Hello, 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 and welcome to John V. Lindsay East River Park. I am your host, Chris Sandeman, and it's a hot one, folks. You can see I'm schwitzing like a villain here because I'm in New York City. Did not make it to Williamsburg, Virginia, and today I'm giving you guys a quick walk down my local and favorite park. It's kind of, hold on a second, let me just plug up my bag real quick here, not drip on the screen. All right, there we go. Hey Michaela, sorry that it's so late at night. Thank you for being there. I wanted to show you guys my favorite park, my local park, the park that I call home. When I go for runs, this is my park. And I also want to show it to you because, hey Rebecca, greetings. I want to show it to you because the park is going through some fundamental changes. They have earmarked $1.45 billion to raise the entire level of the park 8 to 10 feet along the park. And this work is supposed to be completed, hey Mila, thanks for joining. This work is supposed to be completed by 2025. So this park is being, in sections, changed and raised. And they don't really know what it's going to look like after, but they do know that they're going to have to tear down over 1,000 trees to do it. So I wanted to film this tonight, not just for you guys watching live right now with me, but also so we have it documented what this park looked like. For myself, for you, for the future, no matter what ends up, this park ends up becoming over the next 4 to 5 years. Let's take a look at it tonight. We'll talk about why they're doing this construction. Recent weather events are part of that. We're going to talk more about that. Hey, John Santiago Gonzaga. Thank you for joining. Hello. Wave back to you on Facebook. Let me just show you guys where I am right now. And this road that's running along next to me is the very famous FDR Drive. All right. FDR Drive is the main highway on the east side of the island of Manhattan, right? And there's a little footbridge here that crosses over to 6th Street and Avenue D in Alphabet City. These buildings that you see on this side, on the west side, if you will, of the FDR Drive, are the Jacob Riis housing projects. The projects, people would often call them, they're affordable or assisted housing, some people might refer to them as modern sort of New York tenements. And ironically, Jacob Riis was the guy that shone light on the fact that there was a real horrible situation for people, mostly immigrants, coming to New York in the late 1800s, late 1800s is when Jacob Riis was around, but through the late 1800s to the early 1900s, and they were living in really squalid, poor conditions. So he was a photographer and brought a lot of imagery to light as to how bad it was. And then New York started to invest in things like better housing, fresh drinking water. We talked about the Croton Aqueduct and the Croton Reservoir bringing fresh water to New York, but also investing in parks like this. So now we're walking towards the East River. And if you've been with me before, we've actually walked over here once before, but we haven't walked all the way along the East River, which is what we're going to do today, as we walk through this really beautiful park, which, like I said, is going through phases of reconstruction. They were going to just close the park, demolish it, and tear it all down, but there was a lot of community activism, including myself, but nowhere near as dedicated as the other members of the community, who did an incredible job of convincing local government. Hopefully they'll hold to their promises, but convincing local government that they should indeed do the park in different sections, so that way people can actually use the park. Moo, Deadly Rabbit 3 and Rabbit Lover 3. Where am I? I am in New York City. I'm on Lenape Hills. To can actually just catch bridge over there and Queen, and then River connection, some other. Sorry about that, guys. I think I have dead. And now, what do we do? First, River Park. And the reason why we're doing this is because it's a park that is of demolition. You can see that I've got some internet come in and out lag because figure out whether to connect. Let's see if I can improve it. Some other things, but it's 18. Let's see actually if my do I switch mobile? It's too late, I think. I think we're gonna put up with it for a little while. We'll see if either way go up on YouTube later on in its entirety if we have a lot of lag issue. So back to the tour. Let's keep on looking at the East River, not at me. So Williamsburg Bridge that we see up there in front of us actually is about halfway through the East River Park. And if you were to imagine that being halfway, the park, as you can see, wraps around the island of Manhattan. We're looking north now, and that being east, right? East River wraps around the island. But we're going to keep heading south towards ultimately what you see in front of you, the Williamsburg Bridge, and then beyond that, actually, all those buildings that you see down there are also parts of Brooklyn, because Manhattan is going to wrap around to our right in front of us, and then eventually we'll see the skyscrapers of Lower Manhattan instead. So this park's been here for a little bit. Current name of the park, the John V. Lindsay East River Park, because actually the park opens in 1939, and Lindsay was a mayor of New York, like late 60s, early 70s. I think it was like 66 to 73, something like that. And he actually dies down in Hilton Head eventually. Hilton Head, South Carolina, where I was pretty recently. Hopefully that jogging chick's music didn't catch on my microphone for too long. I mean, guys, you're gonna jog along the East River, please wear headphones. And so Lindsay, mayor in the 60s and 70s, park's named after him, but the park was actually here starting in 39 and was a work of Robert Moses. Hey, Jenny Jean, thank you for the Purple Heart over on Facebook. Always good to see you. So Robert Moses, he's a guy we've talked about a bunch of times. He was a parks commissioner, unelected, never ran for office, but probably for the longest time one of the most powerful people in New York, because he controlled the budgets that were coming out of all of the toll money for all the bridges and all the tunnels that would all go into his position as like parks commissioner. Like he was using that money to build new bridges and tunnels, as well as developing parks all over the city. We talked about the park on the Riverside Park on the Upper West Side, and even though that was actually a Frederick Law Olmsted Jr. Park, it was Moses who came in and then added swings and play sets and football fields, like soccer fields and things like that to it. So this park here was his conception and idea. Now, the park has really struggled already because the FDR, which is over here to my right as we're walking, it's expanded. It got bigger, so it ate up more of the park. And there's a lot of claims that part of the reason why they're planning to change the park now is because actually so many members of the New York City housing associations, like people that are low income, they're the ones who tend to use this park a lot. Again, the parks were built kind of for less wealthy, less affluent people. And that's kind of the idea behind the parks. They're a gift to the city. So it's sort of a shame, of course, that the parks tend to be something which can get sacrificed so easily. In fact, it was a major issue in the last elections here that the council members who represent the different districts of Lower Manhattan had their feet held over the fire for not supporting or protecting the park better. Frange Kwong, I miss you. Thank you for missing this country, you say. But I would almost argue that New York is such a special thing. It really is an international space station. New York is a terrible example of an American city. It is not an American city. It's a world city. New York belongs to the people of New York and the rest of the world almost equally. There's three types of people in New York. The people that are from here, right? The people that move here and live here, and the people that commute here every day. And you got to look at all those different perspectives, but also add in the perspective of the people who visit here and the people who will never visit New York, but New York still represents a massive aspect of the way that they see the world or the United States. It's a very special place. And Marce Morales, hey from Veracruz. Here's a bathroom that would date back to original opening. You can see some decorative Americana on the outside of it. These little stars up above, and it's a free public bathroom. Not necessarily always the nicest public bathroom, but you can feel the age of the space inside of it, and often a place where New York's less fortunate end up, being able to use the bathroom. Another great thing about New York is that, hey Elena, saludos desde Buenos Aires, escriba Elena in Facebook. Thank you, Elena. Great to have you with me as we look across the Williamsburg Bridge right now, and we look over into Williamsburg, Brooklyn, across the East River. So a lot of cool things happen along this park. People come and run. People come and sit out. People fish. There's a lot of fishing that takes place in the river here. Apparently the fish is not maybe what you'd want to eat, but it's certainly fun to fish for. And we've got some tennis courts over here. The Brian Watkins tennis courts. No idea who Brian Watkins was, but important enough to get tennis courts named after him. Congratulations, Brian Watkins. You've got a whole bunch of tennis courts named after you. We appreciate your service to the city, sir. And this is the other thing I was going to mention is water fountains. Check it out. There are water fountains all over of that real good Croton water, that Croton Aqueduct. Hi, my friend. Have a good drink. And like that's something that's really special about New York, that we have water fountains all over that we can have access to stay hydrated, because good water hydration is essential. Ooh, take a look at this, guys. You can really see the tide is going out, right? Because you can see the water is lower than the dark line, which means the water's kind of heading out. You can also see how the water is just pushing out and flowing through here. It's really pushing. Well, let's take a look at the Williamsburg Bridge from down below. This is what it looks like from underneath. You can actually hear a subway train going above us right now. Sometimes they're underground, sometimes they're overground. Now, I might have to turn my microphone off in a second. Hello, Vancouver Vixen! Jeanette Wilkinson checking in from the West Coast. West Coast, best coast. Good to see ya. Thanks for the wave. Oh, Diana, missed ya. Thanks for jumping on spontaneously. Sorry not to give some pre-warning. Ladies, we're walking along the East River Park right now. Officially actually named the John V. Lindsay East River Park. And it's both kind of a good night, good evening walk from New York, as well as a bit of an homage to my local city park, my favorite park, the park that I run in, and a park that may not be around for much longer, unfortunately, because it is slated for a $1.45 billion renovation. And why? What's happening? Well, they're raising the entire height of the park by 8 to 10 feet all along this waterway, along the East River, because of exactly the sorts of climate change related issues which are taking place right now in the West Coast with extreme heats, in the Limburg region, around Maastricht, in Netherlands, in Western Germany, in Belgium, with extreme high water floods from massive amounts of rainfall. And because of those sorts of issues, there was a proposal to help protect and raise the entire level of the East River Park. Now, there are other ways to do this, is what the opponents of this plan claimed. You could put flood walls and barriers along the East River Park to protect the East River. Also, that during the renovation to the park, as you were raising the entire park, you're also going to make the East River area and the east side incredibly susceptible to storms and floods like Superstorm Sandy, which did so much damage to the area. A little bit of a party over here. I'm walking kind of fast because I don't want to accidentally catch the music, which I can hear behind me. There's some people are hanging out by some fountains, blowing some steam off on a literally steamy hot day. We got up into the 90s and then we had some flash flooding and heavy lightning, which then dropped temperatures, but once again it kind of like got hot again. This building over here that I'm walking by the way, this brick building over here, is like the East River, the East River Conservation Society, and that's not the actual name. Maybe it's the City Parks Foundation. Maybe it's just, the Lower East Side Ecology Center. Ugh, terrible, I apologize, guys. Lower East Side Ecology Center. And these guys are actually the ones that help keep this park so incredibly beautiful. There are over 1,000 trees in the park that are going to be unfortunately lost when we do these renovations. But it's also, they organize thousands of volunteers every year to come out and beautify and protect this park. So we have those guys to thank for this lush and beautiful park, which we all come to enjoy. I mean, we got Robert Moses to thank for it as well, of course. We've got we've got John V. Lindsay, the old mayor, and we've got all the people that fight for it, the residents, the local people of the East Village in the Lower East Side, who demanded that their park be saved, not just destroyed and raised as a barrier. So Jeanette writes, and mandate carbon emissions to deal with the issues at sources. This is exactly a conversation I'm having at work at the moment, building to mitigate the effects via dealing with the cause. yeah, gosh, you know, Jeanette, you really touch on an issue which is near and dear to my heart as well here. Just really quick, as I'm walking by, just to show you guys on the other side, to show you that this is still a working river. You still have construction areas along it. These guys, looks like they've got different components to make cement on a barge over there, perhaps, or is it sand used for building? A lot of the space below our feet actually is landfill, because you know, you often wonder, kind of like, where did all the where did all the dirt come from to have all this landfill to make Battery Park, to have like the East River Park, to have even Ellis Island, which is mostly landfill. Originally a small, you know, bit of rock, and a smaller island, like about 5 acres. They massively expanded it through taking all the dirt from the, well, if anyone wants to guess where they got all the dirt to build Battery Park in the sides, and, you know, to expand out the landfill on the sides of the city, as well as build up Ellis Island, please go ahead and tell me in the chat, where do you think New York found all that dirt that they needed? And it's not just from New Jersey, okay? No making fun of New Jersey. But on the island, it came from Manhattan. They found it on Manhattan, but where in Manhattan did they find it? So back to the Jeanette's point here, that there's something about human society that we tend to deal with symptoms rather than deal with problems. And it's something that you see very clearly often in medicine, but it's also a real issue of climate change. And it's why climate change is just such a killer for the human species, because we're just like not built to respond to slow rolling emergencies. We're like fight or flight animals. Our DNA says, wait till you see the dinosaur come over the hedge grove, then grab a spear or run the heck away. But this slow climate change issue, it's pretty tough for humanity. And as absolutely horrendous as it is to have situations like the flooding in Western Europe right now, the extreme heat, and other incredible strange climate conditions. I mean, the loss of small insects and small birds, the changing the makeup of the biosphere of the oceans, like all this stuff should be making our spidey senses just absolutely flare up. But somehow, yeah, I don't know. This is pretty cool here, this little open performance area here. It is, you know, it's often occupied, and you'll come down and you'll see there's one type of concert or another kind of concert going on. But it's also suffered some damage from Superstorm Sandy. And this whole area in 2012 really had you know, the storm had a massive impact on it. They actually poured money and resources that were largely donated from not just businesses in New York City, but in the entire country. Poured resources in to allow us to rebuild very quickly and repair the area. So, yeah, less cool. There had been an attack here a few years ago. A jogger running at night got pulled into some bushes, and for a long time they had police lights up at night. I don't actually see them now, but maybe as we walk back they're going to show back up again. Over here is where you've got a lot of the manure and not manure, fertilizer soil that they'll store here in this compound to then spread space for the parks people down here. And that swings us back right now. We've kind of walked around the end and we're back to the FDR, looking into the heart of Manhattan. And now the buildings that we can start to see in the distance are actually some of New York's skyscrapers. We're getting close to those as we go. Hey, Tage, brother. I owe you a text message. I'm sorry, but I will reach out like this. Talk to you soon. But don't go anywhere. You're more than welcome, so please stay. Hi to Canada, Tage. Thanks for being there. And New York would welcome you right now. You know, despite Delta variants in the air and Los Angeles County going back to masks indoors, New York's done pretty well so far. Mark my words, I'm sure we'll be wearing masks again indoors here very soon as well. But this space over here, you can see a lot of the construction equipment which is going towards this renovation, this $1.45 billion renovation, which they're going to be building over stages for the next couple of years to fundamentally change the nature and the makeup of this park by raising its entirety up 8 to 10 feet. Now the problem is, and the reason why a lot of park residents were really, not park residents, but like local residents were really concerned with this plan, is that they've got $1.45 billion, a heck of a lot of money for the construction work, but no plan for how to rebuild the park once it's been raised by 10 feet. Like, what's gonna happen next? You know, are we gonna have the 1,000 trees that they're gonna tear down in the park put on the new level? What are they gonna do? Where are they gonna get the money for that? We're gonna figure that out later on. And that makes people suspicious. We're not really sure if they're really gonna do it or not. I feel like what's happening here is a fair amount of the pre-construction work, the getting set up over stuff with I can't focus in without the fence, but they're doing some construction work already here along the seawall. Oh, JP's mom checking in from Asia. Thanks for checking in. I hope JP's doing well. I haven't talked to him in a half a beat, but gosh, it's nice to see you and welcome to New York. I'm glad I can show you St. Rose's home over here by the FDR. Not that I was showing that specifically to you, just walking by. We got some more tenements along here as well. Although some of these houses coming up are going to be nicer, although, come on, it's the FDR. It's loud here the entire time. So it's not like ever going to be super, super nice to like hang out here and have an apartment. Even if it looks out into Brooklyn and the East River, it's not the nicest spot. They've just repaved this ground. This is all fresh asphalt here. It was previously a nightmare for bikers trying to come by. And even though this area is in theory used by bikes and walkers, joggers, you know, and bikers are supposed to yield to the other two, that doesn't really happen. You usually get a lot of ringing bells from the bikers, angry that you walkers and joggers are in the way, but don't be intimidated. They're supposed to yield to pedestrians. So we are actually getting close, pretty close to the end of the park. The park starts to wrap up. Thank you, Heidi. I really appreciate that. And Tage, Facebook Messenger, gotcha. And yeah, this is a nice old historic building here over on the right. These two buildings here with the wraparound kind of balconies, I feel like some of these nice buildings here were here before the FDR Drive, and they kind of are like, oops, I guess they're going to build a highway in front of us. Too bad. Sort of a shame for them. Well, we're looking down in the distance, and we can see our second bridge coming up. Did anyone answer my question actually about where people got all the dirt? No one answered the question about the dirt, huh? I'll tell you guys. That's my bad. I should have asked you a multiple choice question, because I know it's hard to just answer a question like, I got a question for you. This is actually kind of cool, old school, in case you're in trouble. One of those two, right? For those old timers there, little blast from the past. Next up, I'm going to be showing you a phone booth. They used to put like dimes, or before that nickels, most recently quarters, and you could call people and it was attached to the ground. It was a crazy thing they used to have here in New York. Phone booths, I know, right? It blows your mind. Right, where did it come from? Tage, I don't know what you're talking about, man. The dirt came from the subway lines. They were building subway lines all underneath New York, and you're digging all the dirt. Can't sell it to New Jersey, right? Well, maybe you could these days if it was sand. No, you make landfill out of it, and you fill up the spaces around you. You know, you widen the island, you make Battery Park, you create Ellis Island mostly. Anyway, that's where the dirt went. Subway, it came from subways. Okay, so over here we've got the Van Gogh experience. Goedenavond, hoe gaat het met jou? Van Gogh ervaring. I don't know if ervaring is the word, but whenever I try to speak Dutch, I basically speak German and just try to slur more. And then I'm like, you know, Dutch is great that way. Dutch is kind of halfway between German and English, but with less articles. Everything's het. No der, die, das. Just het. Gotta love that. Okay, so we're gonna just walk down to, how about we walk down, just down to as far as the Brooklyn Bridge. For my students of past tours, what's the bridge in between the Brooklyn Bridge and the Williamsburg Bridge? We've just walked under the Williamsburg Bridge recently. We're gonna head to a second bridge, and we're gonna finish by the third bridge, which will be the Brooklyn Bridge. Without Googling it, if you remember BMW being the New York bridges, B for Brooklyn, M for something, and W for Williamsburg. Our next bridge will be the M Bridge. But we are currently, I don't know if you can hear it, but we are walking underneath the FDR Drive now. The FDR Drive, what is, as you can see, in places, an elevated highway. Much like the, thank you Diana, over on YouTube, Manhattan Bridge, she says, and she is 100% correct. Bingo. So as we look up, we see the FDR Drive showing us that it's actually an elevated highway on the west side of Manhattan. The West Side Highway was also an elevated highway, much like the High Line became an elevated train platform. This guy's headed, he's on an emergency, but so over here is where lots of the ambulances go to rest at night. They hang out there. So these buildings along the side here are New York Public Works buildings. That one back there was like ambulance guys. This next one here coming up that doesn't have any police cars nor any signs is actually a drug enforcement division for New York City. They hang out here and do drug enforcement. They're probably out right now. It's Saturday night, so, you know, they're enforcing. by. People are walking around. Rebecca gave me some applause. Oh, you gave not me applause. You gave Diana applause for Manhattan. She deserved it, so good job. Hey, smells a lot like garbage over here because look, you want to talk about people fighting for the city. It's not just police and firemen and ambulances. It is also sanitation. Because honestly, what would New York be without the sanitation workers? It would be a giant hot bowl mess of stinking Starbucks garbage. The entire city would smell like boiled rotten milk. And, you know, that's what it is. Tage writes, enjoy this. It's a rugged tour, but great. Yeah. Okay. They were just at the sunflower thing. Oh, no. No, we know we're okay. That ice cream music, we've heard it many times on other tours. More sanitation. We've heard the ice cream sound on other tours, and they've never dinged me on YouTube for ice cream music. So I'm pretty sure I'm okay. They don't bust me. We're gonna walk down. Why don't we walk down here really quick? I think we should walk down and catch this promenade real quick. Hi from Elwood, Australia. RM Liav, thanks for joining. And Joel, what's up, brother? What's up, brother, in Sydney? Up in the Blue Ridge Mountains, is that correct? This is really a melting pot kind of neighborhood. We're real close to Chinatown, so it's walking distance from there. A lot of people end up coming over, a lot of Chinese American or Chinese immigrants end up coming along to this particular part or next section of the park, which is great. I hear some thumping. I don't want to get any closer to the thumping music. Guys, I'm just going to quickly turn off my mic. We're going to go to the end. I'm not going to be able to hear you for a second. But if I get caught on the music, I'm going to get dinged. So okay, mic back on again. I realized that the music is actually not coming from the promenade right now. It's coming from one of those boats over there. So that's not my fault. And I don't think it's going to be loud enough to bother us too much. I'm just going to keep on talking like a sing guy. Sing guy, Chris. Keep on moving, boat. Don't let my microphone pick up your bad music. Cause then I get dinged by those losers at YouTube. Ding, ding. Okay. Oh, come on, that boat is just slow rolling me. Oh God, all right. Forget it, fine YouTube. You can screw me if you want to. You can do whatever you need to. Just cause the bass line is so loud. It's not fair, it's traveling over water. That's what's happening here. Yankees fan, gotta appreciate, respect. Well, I can't stop that loud music, and I don't care. It's for you guys. Tage, World Tour's got to come around. Everyone, we got to make it happen. Ice cream cones, thank you, Jeanette. So we're looking here, of course, first at the Manhattan Bridge, and then in the distance the Brooklyn Bridge, and another great look over into Brooklyn with the light. The sun's not setting over there. The sun's setting behind us, but the sun rays are catching the clouds over there, giving it a sort of the reflective sunset. You can see this boat there on the water. This guy here is a commuter ferry, and it's how a lot of people get around. It's kind of like the subway of the rivers. which if you're from like, you know, Vancouver, then you probably have those things all the time. But big old landlocked US, don't have a lot of those. Depends where you are. And I thank you for that. After here, I'm stressing about it for because I was hoping that it wasn't gonna like get in the way of our enjoyment. Well, why don't we walk along a little bit further? I think that the park kind of like officially ends right past the Brooklyn Bridge, and that's our goal right now, is to get to the end of this park before they start to tear it up and raise it up, and the rest of us don't get so much time here any longer to be able to enjoy it. Jeanette, you say I cut and you missed that. Are you talking about the music that was coming in? The cut stopped it, then that was a win. Although I think that maybe I was being a little too, you know, because I have this mic, because it's just like this like, you know, small omnidirectional Rode, you know, lavalier. It should only pick up noise around 6 feet around me, and like really well. And then beyond that, it should get a lot quieter. But still figuring it out. I need to do more testing clearly. Oh, comment on Vancouver. Sorry. What I was saying was that I guess in Vancouver you guys have ferries to get around to other areas, right? Like in theory there are commuter ferries. Like I know in Seattle there are commuter ferries, and I feel like Vancouver's kind of, or that Seattle is kind of the US's Vancouver. Am I slighting Vancouver or slighting Seattle? Or are they just very different? I'm not sure. Oh, sorry. So what do we have going on here, guys? Sorry, I'll show you. This is a workout area. This is kind of like a gym. It's like a street gym. So if you're up for it and you're like, hey, I'm gonna do some quad workout. Boom, quad workouts, you know? Or he's like, I'm gonna hit my chest. He's gonna get ready to do some chest workout. He's on the elliptical, see? And this is great. This is all part of what New York offers us as residents, you know? They get this awesome outdoor gym space, no membership required, other than, you know, like a belief in personal fitness and betterment. Wow, Jeanette writes that the Vancouver ferry boats hold only about 6 people. That's amazing. Unfortunately, I've only been to Vancouver one time, and I was traveling with someone who had a back injury, which made it impossible for them to like really do much. So we kind of took it pretty easy and didn't get to know Vancouver the way that I feel like Vancouver wants to be known. So guys, I'm not sure what to show you, whether I should show you people, like New York people hanging out and enjoying the water, or if I should be showing you the bridge and looking over to Brooklyn. I should show you people looking out over to Brooklyn. Hey guys, let's look at Brooklyn together. It's just the 3 of us, 4 of us, hanging out, looking over, you know. Maybe it's a mix. It's a mix of the whole thing. There is another train, elevated train going over us on the Manhattan Bridge here. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Nice and loud on my end. Jeanette asks for a memory of this area. And well, I can talk about an experience I had just now as I was jogging like an hour and a half ago along this space. And amazingly, it just speaks to the changing times. There is a group of people who were smoking joints along the river, which is not atypical. It's a very typical thing to happen. But the atypical thing was the fact that there were a bunch of police set up at a like meet and greet to learn about your local community precinct about like, I don't know, like 40 feet away, not more than 40 feet. And the police could clearly smell that these guys were smoking pot out on the Esplanade here, but no stress, no worries, no problems. It's weird trying to figure out specific memories. Oh, look at this. It's kind of neat. I wonder what they are storing in there. More sand or mix for concrete. Smart to have their shed underneath the bridge. You get like double protection from that. Very cool. It's actually, you know, Jeanette, it's a really tough question you've asked me because like I have run along this stretch of water 1,000 times. Easily, like 1,000 times. And I know it so well that I wanted to walk with you guys and share it with you because it's sort of like, I don't know, it feels like second home in a way. So, but when you've gone to something so many times, unless like I'd seen like someone like, you know, or something like that, yeah, it's hard, nothing really stands out. There's the cool thing. There's a bunch of bikers up here, messenger guys. They're having like a messenger gathering. Check this out. Oh, a lot of them have left already. This place had like 5 times as many bikes before. Party is dying down. Yum, little grill action. He's got some sausage. Oh, he's handing out sausage. And you can see some more delivery bike guys. I think that they're doing I think as I ran by earlier on, I heard someone talking about a scavenger hunt. They were breaking up into teams to do some scavenger hunting. Whose bike is this? This person has a very special sized body. Oh no, I see it. Those are higher. All right, makes sense. And these guys are fishing. You know, like I was saying, it's a great place to do some fishing. What type of fish do you guys catch?
No fish.
What kind of fish? No fish? No, no fish. Yeah, nothing. Yeah. Thank you. Fair enough. Those guys are pretending not to catch fish. He's like, we don't catch fish, man, with camera. What are you talking about? You are allowed to fish for fish here. You're just not allowed to keep the fish, I believe. So, clearly they're keeping the fish. That's what I'm saying. Oh, too funny. Too funny. There's so many people hanging out right now. It's lovely. Tage, thank you very much for the compliment before. Oh, should we watch these ladies doing some dancing? I'm definitely gonna get dinged for this but I think it's worth it. No, I would not eat fish from there, Tage. That would be a bad idea. I wouldn't eat fish from the East River. Long Island Sound. So I was drinking some agua. Jeanette asks, why this space over other spaces for running? I get a nice breeze, usually on the water. They're waving to us, guys. It's cool. Sorry, YouTube. Yeah, no, it's definitely nice breeze. Really interesting folks dancing. You know, there's some activity, and gosh, you know, a big part of it, and I hate to sound so boring and practical. Part of it's just that once you have a certain route that you know, and you listen to a certain soundtrack, which sometimes I will, just to see how I'm running, I know where I should be on the soundtrack at what part of my run. So running the same path again, I can kind of autopilot, and like on one hand, and on the other hand, I can see where I'm at, like kind of track myself and monitor how well I'm doing. Yeah. It's kind of less interesting, but it's also a really cool view. It's safe. There aren't a lot of cars to get hit by, which is nice. Not a lot of bikes in the way. The bikes have their own bike lane over here, even though you'll still get like people riding by on bikes. So, yeah. Oh yeah? Okay, cool. Oh, hey, Jill. Jill's in the house. What's up, Jill? Welcome. Thanks for joining. So, for late showers, we're coming up close to the end. We've been walking along the East River Park, and it's a park near and dear to my heart, and a park that, because of climate change, they're investing $1.45 billion to raise the level of the park 8 to 10 feet in case there are storm surges. Now, it's not the entire length of the park. In fact, this area looks pretty high. Now, they're going to end up raising this as well, I'm sure. It's not that high when I look at the waterline level. Before this park fundamentally changes in its look, its shape, its makeup, I wanted to show it to us and document it, so we had it. We had a copy of it. But also because we actually don't know if there will be a new park after they raise the park. They've only secured the $1.45 billion to lift the entire level of the park and to create the sea barriers here. They haven't decided if they're going to build a new park on top. I mean, they've said they would, but they don't have the money for it yet. So who knows if that's actually going to happen or not for us? And it's really the question here. And you can see this is used. There's a lot of people out and about, and it's already like 7:30 at night. You know, it's dinner time. We still have a lot of people walking around right now. So it's a shame if they don't bring the park back in some shape and form. But it's also, I mean, for heck's sake, guys, $1.45 billion because of climate change. $1.5 billion. Couldn't we have just used aluminum cans instead of plastics? It's a lot of money that we're spending to protect from climate change. Treating, as Jeanette says, the symptoms rather than getting to the root problems of the actual causes. And let's be honest, plastics industry, petroleum industry, same industry. Not good. Although, you know what I also recently learned? Here, I'll flip back so you guys can look at my sweaty My sweaty mug. Right, Tage writes, British Columbia fires, blistering heat, massive floods. Right, and Jill adds in, it's really it's so ridiculous and sad. It really is. It really is. Something else I recently learned is, unfortunately, concrete. The creation of concrete is a massive contributor to carbon dioxide, CO2 gases. Oh, that is the cutest thing. Those people can ring their bell anytime they want if they're going to have a baby strapped in illegally on the front, like a cute little puppy. Probably not the best thing for the kid, but what a fun ride that must be with Dad, showing her around. We got a little bit of construction, not construction, but a little subsidence over here, and it's worth showing you. This is also part of the reason why we're having to deal with these changes in the new construction in the park. If you take a look, you can see here how the park is sinking. Right? These aren't from like underground tree branches. This is just erosion and sinkholes forming because of the excessive amounts of storm and high waters that we experience now. So Jenny Jean says we are done for as far as climate change goes. It's really unfortunate that my tendency, Jenny, is to agree with you, but I'm also an eternal optimist, and I think that unfortunately, it's a nice little old pier. You can see the remains of an old pier here, guys. An old dock pier. Probably was a pier. A little bit of a pier. Probably pre-bridge. Nah, couldn't be that old. Must be a dock then. Because that would be, dock, pier down there. Because this bridge, as we know, has been here for a long time. End of the 1800s. Brooklyn Bridge, Roebling, our good old German descendant buddies who built this bridge, and if we remember correctly, Diana's ancestors worked on this bridge, helping build it, putting their life and limb at risk. So, yeah. So climate change. Food's just going to get really expensive. Strawberries are going to be like $25 for a bushel. A lot of people aren't going to be able to afford food. A lot of people are going to end up migrating and needing to move where they're living to a new place because of climate change. It's a good look at the Brooklyn Bridge from underneath it. Yes, Tage. Docked by a tower in Brooklyn. Tell us, Tage, were you, I'm not sure which tower you mean and which dock. There are a few over there. And Diana, thanks for confirming that your ancestors did indeed, I remember that. When we had our great tour with Ryan from above the bridge, when we were up top rather than down below, we mentioned that, which was cool. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Tage, you're talking about this here. This is like a barge that I'm pretty sure they're doing repair work down here on the underside of the bridge. So I can see also that there's lines. If I zoom in a little bit, make it easier for you guys. And you can see they're doing something, and those lines are attached to something up above here where they also have that scaffolding along the side of the bridge. So I'm pretty sure that the scaffolding that you see here is now resting on this barge down below. It looks like it has pylons, these big metal pylons in it as well, that are really maybe even holding in position, because that pylon looks lower on the left than the one on the right. I think that's probably connected to that. So, yeah. Well, this is the, oh, look at this. Some of your buddies from back home decided to come down here, hang out with us for a little while. This seems like a good place for us to wrap up, because this is the official end of the park. Beyond there, we get to South Street Seaport, and in fact, we can just see the mast of the waiver tree, which is this tall ship here that you see in the distance, and that's where South Street Seaport starts. That tall ship there showing us what, the port might have looked like in the old days. We've got part of the FDR right in front of us, and behind that, you can actually just see the green spike of 40 Wall Street, which was once the tallest building in New York for a short little bit of time, until the Chrysler building was taller than it again. Tej, if you come visit New York, I will show you around South Street Seaport. It's a place near and dear to my heart. So thank you, Diana, very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon and day in lovely California. I miss it myself. Thank you guys all for joining. Michaela, I hope you've fallen asleep watching us. Jenny, thank you for coming along. Todos los gentes de Argentinas y México, gracias por tus compañía. Crap, I don't speak Spanish, but I'd like to try. Jeanette, my dear, mwah, mwah, a million times, mwah. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming along, guys. I'm glad that I could show you something that was a bit special for me, and a bit of my, mi corazón, part of my heart, my neighborhood. And tomorrow, I'm going to be heading to Ellis Island. We're going to be doing a noon start over at Ellis Island at noon sharp New York time. So 6 p.m. In continental Europe, 5 p.m. in the UK, 9 a.m. over on the West Coast. Don't feel that you need to wake up, you can watch later on. But we're going to go and visit Ellis Island, because the other day when we were talking about tiles, remember that? When I was showing you guys those tiles over by Bryant Park? Well, I've really gotten to fall in love with these Gustavian tiles now. And it turns out there's a bunch of them over at the Immigration Center on Ellis Island. So I wanted to go look at those and check that out, but also talk about the immigrant story of Ellis Island, and also Castle, not Castle Island, but Castle Park, which becomes Clinton Castle. It's also an immigration station for a while. And we'll be able to have a good view of the Statue of Liberty. I have to go all the way to New Jersey to get there. So it's going to be fun. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. So Jill, Joel, all my favorite Jays, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Rebecca, always great to see you. Thank you. Mwah. And looking forward to tomorrow. Same here as well. And have a wonderful Saturday evening. If you're in Australia, have a wonderful start to your Sunday. Whether you're having a beer or you're going to enjoy a coffee. I finished my tour, so I'm going to have a low alcohol, low calorie beer, because usually I'm only drinking 2 nights a week right now. And I'm trying to keep it only to 2 drinks per night when I do drink. But this is a cheap beer, which I'm going to have to cheers you guys at the end of my tour. Cheers, and have a wonderful evening, wonderful start to your day, and talk to you very soon. Bye, everyone.